Welcome to the Superhero Bro podcast. I am Bryant.
I'm Danny.
Thank you for all the applicants. I appreciate you all applying to this role in this podcast. We went with someone close to home. We went with Danny here. I've known him for
Going on like 4
or 5 years,
5 years,
probably. Yeah. When I transferred schools my junior year, and then when I went to my new school, Danny was at the new school, and we played sports together and everything. So we've known each other for a long time. That's why I kind of went with Danny. I mean, stick it close to like a friendship, you know what I'm
It's a
saying?
canon event. It was meant to happen.
It was meant to happen, you know. But for those of you that applied and still want a role on this podcast, how we're gonna do it is you can still apply to that same form, and if you want to come on as a guest star for an episode, we're more than happy to welcome you on. I think that's fair,
Yeah.
really. So besides that, I think we just kind of do a little introduction, introduce ourselves, get right into it. Really, this is episode one and a half.
2.
However you want to call it, I think is fair. So, Danny, how'd you get into superheroes?
So honestly, I have a pretty deep background into superheroes. My first thing that I remember about it was my mom, when we lived in California, take me to free comic book day. That was like my favorite time in the world, and that's how I got into comics and superheroes. She's a huge DC fan. And that's how I got into. Originally, I'm an OG, originally DC. So disappointed with the movies though. So
yeah, you won't watch The Flash. So
yeah, we'll not watch The Flash. And so, but I love origin stories in the comics. But then I remember the first MCU movie I saw was Avengers.
Really?
Yeah, was Avengers, and immediately fell in love. I was reading the comics, but immediately fell in love with the MCU because of Avengers.
Yeah.
And then from there, just kept going. And then I remember specifically when you transferred, I used to be like the nerdy kid at school. I used to think I knew so much. And then as soon as you came, just immediately button heads, like, who knows more? Who knows this? But yeah, no, that's how I got into superheroes.
Yeah, mine was mostly my longest my memory that I have just getting into superheroes. Iron Man 1 in theaters, my brother taking me to see it, which is just like an embedded memory for me, going to see that movie, getting into superheroes right after that, reading. It was movies that started with me. That's why I think I lean more towards movies than comics in a way, just because I started with movies. So I went into Iron Man with my brother. Was there every premiere after that.
Yeah.
Just kind of, even as a little kid, going to those midnight premieres before they were like the Thursday night, 7 o'clock. They were midnight premieres.
Yeah.
I was going to those. Convincing my mom to take me to midnight premieres was the hardest thing to do. But after that, my brother, it was building off that story for Endgame. I'm like, we saw Iron Man together. I'm coming up to Flagstaff when we were watching Endgame together. That's where he lives, is Flagstaff, Arizona. So I drove all the way to Flagstaff and we watched Endgame together in theaters, midnight premiere. Obviously, that was crazy enough.
Yeah.
But that was a cool experience too, you know, just reliving that with him, starting there and almost ending the Infinity Saga with him was pretty cool. But yeah, Iron Man was the first thing to get me into it. And then honestly, so for like my favorite character, I would have to say Spider-Man in the movies, just because he's everywhere in the movies. You can't go almost like a year without
go anywhere without seeing him.
Some type of Spider-Man media is everywhere. But comics, I'm a huge Moon Knight comic guy.
Yeah.
You can go into my drawer over there, you'll see Moon Knight comics, and that's my guy.
I don't know if you guys can catch it, but some Moon Knight memorabilia over here.
Yeah, that's some GameStop exclusive my brother got me for my birthday. You actually have the Moon Knight boomerang thing and then the Scarab. Which is pretty cool. But yeah, what about you? What do you think you lean towards?
Currently, my favorite superhero, probably Star-Lord.
Okay.
Mainly because he's living like the life that I would have loved to live. Like, I fantasize about being kidnapped by aliens as a little kid, and then just being able to living that. It's just amazing.
Being threatened to be eaten every
all
single
the
day.
Time,
yeah.
Being reminded all the time that I could have eaten you as a kid.
I'm guessing that hence your TikTok name, Cosmic Crusaders.
Or Cosmic Commander.
Cosmic Commander.
But so that's probably my current favorite. Comic wise, gosh, so difficult, but honestly, I have to say Captain America for me. I have a lot of family that's in the military and stuff, and my grandpa remembers like Captain America coming out.
That was a big thing back then.
So, find that really cool. Fight Nazis.
Yeah, badass. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So I think we just kind of jump into our first segment. We're kind of transferring over. If you know me, we used to have a podcast. Me and my actual brother, the one that I went to Endgame with, we were just talking about. We had a podcast for one episode. We filmed it outside with the worst camera quality in the universe. Daniel's laughing because I just made him watch it to get ready for this. But we're just gonna kind of take some of those categories and some of those topics over here, along with coming up for some new ones for the podcast. Want to keep it kind of fresh, you know. So, starting off, we're going to do with Kiwi News. I'm just going to share any updates in the past week. Obviously, we have the writer's strike going on, so we're not going to dive too much into reviews for anything like that for movies as of right now until this strike is over, because we're in full support of it. Starting off, obviously, we're still going to talk about some movies, but we're not just going to like promote towards them. I think that's fair. So garbage truck's pulling up. The Fantastic Four. Did you hear about the cast of possibly Adam Driver and Margot Robbie joining the cast?
Yeah.
They weren't happy with the pay, so they apparently, rumored at least, dropped out of this movie.
Which I'm actually kind of happy for.
Yeah. Who's your favorite? Who do you want to be, Mr. Fantastic, Mrs. Fantastic?
I don't have any picks.
Yeah.
I just wasn't the biggest fan of Margot Robbie and Adam Driver.
That's
I just
fair.
can't really picture it.
Yeah, I can't picture those two together. I really can't, as a husband and wife dynamic.
It just doesn't fit for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would John Krasinski, Emily Blunt. I mean, that's my
honestly,
pick, but they're never gonna do
that's a
it.
good cast.
They're never
but
gonna
they
do
won't
it. Yeah, they did the little cameo in Multiverse of Madness for him, but they won't go off of that.
And I think they only did the cameo just to have the cameo, just to be like everyone.
I also I've never seen the show, but I can't even think of his name off the top of my head. The guy that was in You on Netflix as a good Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now. But
I can't either, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
I think he would be a good Mr. Fantastic. I think he has.
You would too.
I think he has like the face, everything I think works for me. He has a good Mr. and he has persona. Obviously, he plays a serial killer in that show, but I think it's a bit
Great
different.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. So, we were actually talking about this before the podcast. We try to save most of our topics for the podcast, but this somehow got brought up when we were messing around. The Wolverine suit. What are your thoughts on it?
It's tough because putting aside the actor's own personal problems and stuff that he has to deal with, I'm a little disappointed with the suit just because of the sleeves. Literally just because of the sleeves. I like how it looks and everything else, but the sleeves just doesn't tie it together for me. I feel like iconically, it's no sleeves showing off the biceps, the muscles, everything.
Which Hugh could do, but I just think it's mostly he's very prone to skin cancer, and then he just has those sleeves on.
You know what? Screw his skin cancer. Make him wear the sleeve, or make him go sleeveless.
He's prone. I'm sure if they could do a thing where it's like he's they're in some warehouse. Deadpool cuts off his arms or something, regrows without sleeves. I'm sure something like that. They could do something. I saw that. I forgot where I saw that. I think I saw it on TikTok. Someone say that they could do something like that, and I think it's very possible. I think the suit's awesome. I'm okay with the sleeves. I really don't care that there's sleeves on the suit, but that's just my opinion. Obviously, we have some differing opinions. I don't think the sleeves ruin the suit too much. I sent this to you to post about this next topic. Taylor Swift joining the cast of Deadpool 3 as Lady Deadpool, heavily rumored.
Because my opinion is that what Disney, MCU just is doing in general is that they're just bringing in random like celebrities.
It's true.
And just throwing them in roles, like Lizzo in Star Wars. Like
John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic.
Yes, and all of the reason why I think they did that was just to dispel like the fans, like just to be like, so the fans were like, oh
yeah, that's who they wanted.
Mr. Fantastic, make him Mr. Fantastic, and they showed him and then killed him.
Yeah.
So
it is what it is. I think it'll be more of like a cameo thing, just because her and Ryan Reynolds are good friends, so I wouldn't expect too much from it. But like, why not Gwenpool? I think that's just a better fit for her, more than Lady Deadpool, of course. But who knows? She probably will just keep the mask on for the most part, and it could be honestly a thing. I just imagine like the jokes Deadpool would make about Taylor. You know, he knows it's Taylor Swift, about Taylor Swift being in his movie. It's pretty funny, I think. So we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna come back to that later, I think, in the video, but I think it has potential. It has potential. We'll see. Honestly, can't make judgments before it happens, I think. Going off a movie you haven't seen, The Flash. Um, did you hear that there? To make some sort of money, they're releasing the movie on digital as an NFT. They they lost to Elemental in the box office and decided, hey, you know what?
NFT.
Let's make this movie an NFT for people to own. And I think you get like special content if you could buy it as an NFT, which is it's the weirdest thing ever. What movie has ever done that?
None. And
They're trying to
there's a
start a
reason
trend.
why no movies have done it. Just so you guys know, I have very strong feelings towards DC movies. I will not watch any of them until, I mean, I've seen a lot of them, but I will not watch any more until James Gunn fully takes over.
Ooh, what if the Batman 2 comes out? That's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's like a
It's
separate.
different.
It's
It's
separate.
different,
It's
yeah.
not part of.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. DCU,
Yeah.
you wait till James Gunn joins in.
Although I kind of have some feelings towards the Batman in general.
Oh, okay. We'll save that, I guess, for another time. But yeah, the Flash released as an NFT. That's crazy.
I think they're just trying to
They're trying.
overcompensate.
They're trying.
They're
is what
trying.
They're just trying too hard. Sticking to the DC universe, Superman Legacy. We have cast our Hawk Girl, Isabella Merced. I think she played Dora in like that live action Dora movie. Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern. Nathan Fillion. He was the security guard in Guardians 3, and I think he's
Firefly.
the rookie too. He's big with James Gunn. James Gunn loves him. That's his thing. Mr. Terrific is Eddie Gathegi. Remember X-Men First Class? He played Darwin, the guy that like could adapt to anything he touched.
Yeah, I think they completely butchered him in the movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's
in the
OP
comics.
in the comics.
In the comics, he's like the most one of the most OP because he can't die.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be able to adapt to everything, and then all of a sudden, just an orb of energy and like, oh,
it was stupid. It was very stupid. But same actor's playing Mr. Terrific, so giving him a second chance, I think, is good because he got killed off quick in Marvel.
Yeah.
Metamorpho is Anthony Carrigan. This is my favorite, I think, of the casting. He was in Barry, Gotham, The Flash. He played Zaz in Gotham, the crazy bald dude.
Yeah.
He's playing another villain in Superman Legacy, Metamorpho. I think that's a great casting. He was also I forget the name of the character, but he was like, it turned into like poisonous gas in The Flash. Very early on in the show.
It's like that's like season 1, season 2,
it's
right?
like episode 3 of season 1, I think. But yeah, so that actor is coming back to Metamorpho. He's big in DC. You can tell he's in a lot of DC stuff, so that should be pretty cool. I guess I should have threw this in earlier when we were talking Deadpool 3, but Jennifer Gardner is confirmed to be returning as Elektra in Deadpool 3. Yeah. So, going off of what I think, Deadpool's going to kill the Fox universe. I'm telling you right now, all those Fox movies, Jennifer Gardner, dead. Ben Affleck's Daredevil, dead.
Deadpool kills the X-Men.
That's exactly what it's going to be. And guess who's going to try to stop him? Wolverine. I could definitely see it happen.
But then they end up teaming up.
But if did you see the leaked footage, right?
I saw clips of it. So I haven't seen much.
They're filming this. Deadpool is fighting Wolverine in like the void from Loki. And you can see like an old broken down 20th Century Fox logo destroyed behind them when they're fighting. I don't know what that means, but some fourth wall break, something's going crazy. Because Owen Wilson was just spotted on set filming for Mobius too. So I don't know what they're doing with that.
Wait. Say that again. Say that one more time.
Owen Wilson was back on set filming as Mobius for Deadpool 3.
I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting. Although, because Deadpool 3 is the first Deadpool actually filmed by, like, in the MCU, right? I mean, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Although it'd be kind of like a big middle finger to, like...
Fox movies?
Yep. Because it's like...
I agree. I think it's
just
crazy.
Clearing the slate. Clean slate.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the crazy... I like Sean Levy, too. He's the one taking over. He did the Adam Project on Netflix and Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. So he's already really good with Ryan Reynolds. They work well together. So I'm excited for him to step into the role for Deadpool 3. I think he has good potential. Going into a different topic now, neither Marvel or DC, The actors and writers strike is pushing projects back. I'm sure we're not getting Disney, Bob Iger listening in. Pay these people.
Yes.
They're what make the movies movies. You wouldn't be making your money without these people.
They're also the people that pretty much put us in this position that we're in right here.
Without those people,
Without
we
them,
would not
we
be
wouldn't
here.
have this podcast.
Exactly. These people deserve the money that they should be getting. It's crazy. We had the Oppenheimer cast walk out of the red carpet premiere in support of it, which is awesome.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
I saw it all. It was all over my feed, and I loved it
It's
because
cool.
I was like, you know what? Actors are taking a stand. Major actors too.
The higher up actors are supporting these low level actors that aren't making enough money, and I think it's fair. I think it's awesome. Honestly, the average actor pay is $27 an hour, but think about it, that seems like a lot at first. This isn't year round. This is while they're filming projects that they can get into, and that's the average. So honestly, that goes below that for an hour, and you don't get cast. It's really messed up.
Yeah.
It's not fair to these
I think it
people.
needs to be more organized. I think now this is obviously kind of going out there, and it can't obviously completely be like this, but being an actor is like a professional profession. I think it should be more. I think there should be a more major organization that actors can go to. And it's like, all right, you're with us. We're going to help you cast. We're going to help you audition. We're going to help you do this.
So they have like agents that do that, but you have to pay the agents.
Yeah, and agents are for themselves. Basically. Like agents, managers. They're kind of, they're looking for the next big thing to promote them, to put on their resume.
Yeah, and then the median weekly pay for writers declined nearly 23% over the last decade. So they ain't getting paid either. Neither of them are getting paid. Bouncing off of this, Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, his reply to all of this, instead of being like, okay, we'll think it and we'll talk it through, he said, writers are not being realistic with the strike.
Yeah.
Yep. You can tell that pissed a lot of people off. Even Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, who came out and said, Bob Iger makes 400 times more than his lowest worker. Maybe you should take a look in the mirror and ask, why is that? And I think that's awesome.
That's an amazing statement.
Yep. He knows. He's like, I have DC to bounce back on. I can say whatever I want to this guy.
Whatever I want.
Yes. And it's true. I mean, he makes 400 times currently than what his lowest workers are making, and that is ridiculous. Pay your people. Pay your people.
Pay the writers.
The actor.
Anyone.
VFX artists are another one.
Yeah.
Pay them too. They should be on strike too, honestly. Spider-Verse was screwing over those VFX writers, and it's all crazy.
Although, the Lego scene,
14-year-old made that.
insane. And I thought that was really cool.
It is really cool.
Because the kind of, publicity that gives him.
Yeah.
In future careers, insane.
I watch every one of his YouTube videos now.
Yeah.
When it pops up, I'm like, oh, let's watch this. It's cool Lego animation. He redid his most recent video was the Prowler leaked, when Miles is the Prowler.
Yep.
That kind of leaked footage that came out. Well, not leaked. It was test footage for the next movie. He actually made that in Lego and animated. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'll have to show you after this.
It's so cool.
Yeah. I think that's it for all the news. We talked about the strike. We talked about some Deadpool 3, Superman, all types of stuff like that. So
Pay your writers.
Pay your writers. That's what we're going to end with this segment with. Going into Bros Become Foes. You remember, this was on my old podcast. Me and my brother picked a random character. Well, it's not random. We picked a character, went to head, and then we decided who won. It's going to be a bit different. If you're watching this, comment. If you're on YouTube, it's probably the only way you can comment. Comment who you think won this battle. And if you sign up for our Patreon that we have set up, you'll get basically 5 votes and we'll know next week who really won. So if you want to subscribe to our Patreon, go ahead and head over to that. It'll be in the links for all the stuff we're uploading it on.
$4 tier.
$4 tier for a month, and then you get behind the scenes content. You can ask us Q&As. We'll go live for you guys. A bunch of different random stuff. Movie nights probably. We'll watch movies together with you guys. Anything like that, really. We're still deciding logistics of it. Yeah, first podcast. But if you want to sign up for that, you'll get behind the scenes content definitely, and you'll get votes on these Bros Before Foes segments.
Yep.
Do you want to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I went with a classic cartoon, a character I grew up watching my whole life, and I think he's not OP enough, but he can get OP if you need him to get OP.
Yeah.
I went with Ben 10.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He has 10 different aliens he can go to. I think he's pretty set.
So my character, classic.
Mm-hmm.
Not only I chose a Marvel character.
Okay.
Um, that also is like at his normal state, decently OP, but he can get even more. And
Okay.
I think it's actually very interesting because Ben 10 and him, I think, are like a good match.
Okay.
Thor. I feel like them battling is a very interesting.
Thor versus Ben 10.
It's interesting.
I'm gonna say one thing. Alien X.
I don't know.
Alien X versus. I think he has to go Alien X if he's going against
Now,
Thor.
Can Thor use anything? Can
He
he
can use Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. I think that's fair.
Bifrost? Like,
Where are you going with this?
I'm saying, like, is he allowed to use his fellow Asgardians with him?
Oh no, it's a 1v1. You can't bring in everyone else. I will bring up one thing though. Besides the one thing I already brought up, we'll bring up one more thing we'll say. Isn't Thor an alien, technically? Because he's on Asgard, an alien planet.
It's a different realm.
So do you think Ben would be able to scan him on his Omnitrix
Oh gosh.
and become Thor?
I did. Oh no.
Here's
I mean,
that one.
Cheers. I don't.
It's
Me wanting to win is gonna say no.
Uh-huh. I think that's fair.
But
'Cause
in
he's a god. He's not an alien. So you can
Yeah.
say whatever you want. Honestly, you can pick
it
whatever
depends
you
on how
want.
you see it.
Depends on how you see it. Alien X. Hey, so go ahead and vote on that in the comics. Who you think wins that, Ben 10 or Thor? You don't know Alien X, go look up Alien. Trust me, she's really good at that. Besides that, we'll just get right into the next
Actually,
thing.
real quick,
Yeah.
I want to bring it up. Ben 10 has been known to, like, not lose control.
Uh-huh. Oh, he loses control of the Omnitrix quite a bit.
So that could play into it. That's another thing to think about. Could play into it.
I also didn't say what age level. That
And
could be that
since
10-year-old that got
Thor
it.
is the god of thunder, could he destroy them?
Alien X. All right. So next segment is top 5. Every week we're gonna have a different top 5. This week we went off kind of a recent movie that came out. It's a popular movie. It's still all over my TikTok. Across the Spider-Verse. We're gonna be giving our top 5 different Spider-Verse variants. You want to start off with number 5?
Yeah, and I think it's controversial.
Okay,
Definitely,
I think mine is too.
it's gonna be very controversial.
Mine is too. So go ahead.
Miles Morales.
Okay.
It's my 5.
Okay.
But I also didn't just stick with the Spider-Verse. So I chose
Okay.
but outside of it too.
Yeah, mine is Toby's Spider-Man, number 5.
Oh, that's gonna be very controversial
Oh,
on
I
my
know.
list then.
I know. I think out of the live action, he's a great Peter Parker. I don't think he's my Spider-Man. That's where it gets a little testy. I like the other 2 Spider-Man more personally, and they're on this list. But that's just my hot take. I just don't like Sam Raimi too.
Yeah.
And those movies, I've tried rewatching them and I laugh. We'll get more into that during
Zoom
the
in on
hot
the eye.
takes. Yeah. Number 4, what's your number 4?
Tom Holland.
Okay. So is he no, I'm not
So
sure.
for me, when everyone, because that's always the question. That's like the main question. Who's your favorite Spider-Man? How do you rank them? And for me, it's really hard to rank them sometimes because they all play different Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
It's a different version and it's a different movie.
Mhm.
Each of them's different. Toby's like kind of a more like corny Spider-Man, like like
I got you.
like it's completely different. Andrew's I feel like a more like serious like
Mhm.
crap like I didn't
But he's
say-
also, I think, the best with the puns out of all 3 of them. Like,
Yeah.
he's very quick-witted, and I think that's awesome.
And then Tom I think just looks like Spider-Man because he's young. He looks young. He looks like he's really honestly I'd mistake him for like a freshman, sophomore in college.
Yeah.
I think he's that's my number 4 is Tom.
Okay. Mine's we're gonna go into the Across the Spider-Verse. I liked back in the Edge of Time Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2099.
Mhm.
I think he's a good Spider-Man. He's got the freaking best theme in the movie. And it
Suit's
just,
amazing.
the suit's amazing. Even if he gets the white suit in the next movie, that's even better. So I think, and Miguel O'Hara is just cool. It's a very different variant. Like, he's almost like a vamp. He's a full-blown spider compared to the rest of the Spider-Man. I feel like
It's the claws and everything
he has
too.
the claws, the fangs,
Mhm.
because he got mixed with spider DNA. Like, they like morphed them together.
And one thing to point out too is that with all the Spider-Mans you look at, So like with Toby, he got bitten by the spider,
Mhm.
and the next morning when he woke up, he's like all jacked
Yeah.
and like Miguel O'Hara's like had to work out.
Mhm.
Like he worked out. Like he didn't just immediately become
Yeah.
jacked, and that's why he has the claws because he climbs
Mhm.
rather than just
Yep.
picking up. So
I also think he was a cool. It's very different. I feel like his character in Across the Spider Verse, but I think it was a cool character, cool change. I think they did for the movie.
no, for sure.
They tend to do that with the Spider Verse movies. They change a little thing, but it's a
Yeah.
good way they change it.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
Noir.
He almost made my list. I think he was number 6, so that's fair. I think.
The reason for me is because I have, like I said, I'm more of a comics guy. So I saw and have seen his backstory, and I love how, because originally I started off in DC,
Mhm.
and I love the darkness. I love the
Yeah, I get you.
like,
That makes sense.
and I loved how Noir is, because he has a very dark backstory.
His vulture.
Yep. and
I don't know if we can talk about it, but his vulture.
and he's not opposed to
Yeah.
his enemies.
hmm
So that is
Yeah.
another thing that
And
really
he's also
liked.
in Spider Verse.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh my
is
gosh,
a great.
Nicolas Cage.
And they're making a Amazon Prime live action series for him too.
Really
hmm
excited for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Hopefully Nicolas Cage comes back to play him.
Oh
That
my
would
gosh,
be awesome.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
awesome. A live action Nicolas Cage as Noir. Number 3 for me is gonna be Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
He's not quite my Tom level, which we'll get into where he's at, but Andrew he's quick-witted. His movies are underrated. And I just think he's a well-rounded, good character. He was awesome in No Way Home too. He almost like carries that last 30 minutes, I think,
Gosh, when he saved.
when he saved MJ.
Yep.
I
That
mean,
was. I started crying when I saw
Yeah.
that in theaters. I cried.
yeah, I was on the verge. One thing about me, getting me to cry in a movie takes a lot. I don't know what it is. Like
Really?
it's the hard. Like I think I'm just so like focused on what is happening that it doesn't even process to react with emotion.
See, I get so invested
mm-hmm.
in like just all of me is
Yeah.
like into this movie, which
Mhm.
is why if it's a bad movie that I'm really looking forward
Mm-hmm.
to, it breaks my heart,
Yeah,
and it's just like oh. But you know, I'm really easy to cry.
Guardians the new one didn't get me to cry. Yeah,
Like the entire movie,
no,
I
like
cried.
I went with like a group of like 6 people, and I'm like sitting there like enjoying the movie, and then Lila,
yeah.
I'm looking around, my whole group is like
Bro.
crying, and I'm just like,
Oh,
what is
dude,
happening?
I was so sad.
I was sad, but like I'm not to the verge of tears. Like,
See,
I
I
don't know.
teared up then. The when I cried, like the final scene,
Mhm.
when I genuinely thought Peter was gone. Because, like I said, he's my
Oh,
current
yeah,
favorite
yeah, yeah,
character.
I get you.
And when dude, because he was out there for, I'm like tearing up right now
Mhm.
thinking about it. Like when he was out there for a minute and everyone's just kind of standing there staring at him.
Yeah. And you see Groot trying to reach for him,
Yep.
and he can't get to him. It
Yep.
sucked. Yeah.
And I was like, this is really what they're going to do.
Mhm.
Like, this might actually make me stop watching the movies.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was like, you can't kill him.
Then Adam Warlock came clutch.
yeah.
You're coming up to him. It's funny to look back on now, but then you weren't even laughing. You were just
Yeah.
like, get him safe, So
Yeah.
before we got into that, do we haven't done? You're done your number 3, right? Who's
Yep.
your number 2?
Andrew.
Andrew. Okay.
Honestly, a lot of the stuff that you said, I genuinely agree with. I feel like he's kind of overlooked a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I like his take on Spider-Man. Loved all the movies. And yeah, I just think he definitely carried, I think, the back end of
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better than people say it is.
oh no, for sure.
You agree with that, huh?
Yeah.
The only thing bad about that is Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, but that's not even bad. It's the only thing is we're comparing it to Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. And that's not
And
even
that you can't match
fair
that.
comparison.
Yeah,
Because Dane DeHaan's not a bad actor in my opinion.
he's not. But I didn't like the depiction of the character.
No, yeah. Harry was kind of cringe in that movie.
Yeah.
Like the way he was acting and stuff was very. The one scene where he's throwing stuff around after Spider-Man is
Yeah.
like, I hate you, Spider-Man. The way he says he's throwing stuff around, and Andrew's just sitting there posted on the wall like this. It's pretty bad, but
I hate you.
yeah. My number 2, you've already mentioned him, is Miles.
Okay.
I think his 2 movies, especially if we're going on the movies, comics, he's all right, but
Yeah.
movies, they've changed his story. He is the first canon event. I think his story as a whole
Mm-hmm.
freaking awesome. Like
No,
you're
yeah.
giving this character a better version in the movies than I think he has in the comics. More impactful role in the movies. He's the first canon event. He's the first thing that causes everything else to break, creating the spot, creating everything else. That's why I think he's a very interesting character to me, and I can't wait to see what they do with him and beyond. I think his character is just going to even evolve that little bit more. So that's why I think he's my number 2. I think he's just a very interesting Spider-Man.
And I definitely think he deserves a top 5 spot, just for me personally.
Well, he still made your top 5, didn't he?
Yeah, he made my top 5, but he's just not. Honestly, I almost left him off the list.
Yeah.
Just for personal.
Because I know you're also a comics guy too.
Yeah.
His comics characters.
Well, and he's fairly new.
Yeah.
He's fairly new. So because I am a more comics guy, I do have to acknowledge like Spider-Verse, like just best, like some of the best movies. And so I had to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Number 1.
Number 1,
Tobey.
And it's because he's my Spider-Man. He is the Spider-Man that I grew up with. He's the one I remember the most. Now, I will admit, going back and watching those movies now, slight struggle.
It's a slight struggle.
It's like the scenes of him climbing up the building.
I talk about it in my hot takes. We'll bring back in Tobey movies, but
then that's all I'll say. Tobey's my number 1. He's my Spider-Man.
Okay.
Love you, Tobey, if you're watching this.
My number 1 is Tom Holland. He's the perfect balance of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Sure, he's had to rely on some Avengers things in the past, but that ending of No Way Home has put him in a position where he is going to be our best Spider-Man and our best depiction of Spider-Man. If we're getting into it technically, I guess I should have put the Spectacular Spider-Man on my list from the show that aired on Disney XD. That is the best version of Spider-Man we've gotten in media. He perfectly wraps up Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland has the ability to eventually become where Spectacular Spider-Man was on the level. So that's why I think Tom is going to be there. He's a great actor. He's very underrated when it comes to the Spider-Man picture. At the end of No Way Home, he's learned from both Tobey and both Andrew how to be a Spider-Man. He's going to put both of their personalities together into becoming this perfect Spider-Man. I think in Spider-Man 4 and Kang Dynasty and whatever he's next, he's going to be a great character. I think he has the potential. As of right now, I'm putting him at number 1 because he has the potential. And not even because of what we've seen before with Far From Home and Homecoming. He has the potential to become the best Spider-Man.
And I have to agree with you, because I mean, that's some of the things that I said about him. Is that I think that it's the hardest question in the world. Like everybody asks, who's like, what's the out of Tobey, Andrew, and
in reality,
Tom,
they're so close.
They're so close, but they also represent different Spider-Mans in different times. Tobey is I think at least if he continues to be in the MCU, which big possibility.
Yeah, for Secret Wars and stuff.
Yep. He is the older, a little bit more wise, experienced Spider-Man. Andrew is like the middle. But Tom does, like you said, represents the most accurate Spider-Man, I think. He's like, he is a kid. And it just fits him very well. But he's my number 4, not mine. He's my Spider-Man.
Fair. I think it's fair. All 3 of them need to be on the list, though.
No, for sure. And if you don't have all 3 on the list, then something's wrong with you.
This next segment, we figured out a way. We're going to be doing a thing also with the Patreon. This is our trivia category. Danny came up with questions for me, MCU mostly based, right?
Yes.
Okay. My MCU knowledge should know all these questions, but for the most part, if I miss 3 out of 5 of these, our Patreon gets to choose a challenge I must commence in, or a challenge I must endure in the beginning of the next podcast. That being said, I ain't going to miss these 3, so we're not going to have to worry about it. I'm going to get all 5.
And then another thing to point out is that every week when we're going to be switching off on trivia, and we're going to try and test each other on stuff that we should know, or like in that sector of knowledge. So like for him, a lot of MCU, a lot of Marvel. For me, probably a little bit more comics, DC.
Yeah. And this week, we're starting off with him questioning me. Switch after that.
Yep.
So go ahead. Ask away.
Alrighty. And I have them all true and false.
Okay, that's fair. I think we should do that.
I think it's a little bit easier
Mhm.
than multiple choice.
Maybe eventually evolve into
Eventually
multiple choice.
evolve.
Starting off right now, we can
First
do true or false.
podcast,
Yeah.
true or false.
Yeah.
Natasha escaped the widow program in Bucharest.
Bucharest?
Bucharest.
Bucharest.
Bucharest. Bucharest.
Budapest?
But is it true or false, Natasha?
Never heard of Bucharest.
Bucharest is a country.
The country?
Sure. Or a city. Something like that.
You went straight into Black Widow. One of my least favorite Marvel movies.
And I knew that, but it's MCU. True or false? Natasha escaped.
False.
You're right.
Yes. We're still alive. Let's go.
Okay. Now this one's not MCU,
Okay.
but it's on Stanley.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, you did a big project on Stanley.
I did a big project on Stanley.
And honestly, this is pretty common knowledge. I feel like you should know
Okay.
this. At age 17, Stanley wrote his first comic book. Captain America foils the traitor revenge.
I think that was his first.
Now this one's kinda, but
So it's true then, right?
it's true.
Okay.
But I don't think it was his first comic
That
book,
he wrote, yeah, but the first one
but
published
the
with
first
Marvel.
one published because it wasn't supposed to come out.
Okay. I
It was
get you.
supposed to.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was one that he thought wasn't gonna do anything.
Makes sense.
Easy one, based
Okay.
on the show.
Okay.
Names of Wanda's children are Billy and Tommy.
True.
Yep. Captain America was found frozen in 2015.
He was found frozen before the first Avengers movie. First Avengers movie came out in 2012, so false. He was not found in 2015.
All right. Black Panther question.
Okay.
Killmonger. Now I'm gonna completely butcher this name.
Okay.
Just so you know. Killmonger's real name is N'Jaka.
That's true. Is it?
Yes.
It
Yes,
is true. Okay. I was like, he says it when after I am N'Jaka, son of whatever, but I remember him saying that. That's why I was like, okay, went 5 for 5. Starting off good on this episode. We'll see what happens next episode. Danny might have a challenge. We'll see.
All right.
This or that. This is the new one. This is a new one for this episode of the podcast. We give 2 options to the other one, see what they pick, and just kind of talk about it.
Mhm.
I want to save my first one for a little bit. So go ahead. What's your first this or that?
Misquoted movies or mistaken lyrics.
Like, which one do I like? I'm okay with, or which one I'm
Which one would you rather deal with?
mistakenly?
Okay, for
I make
me,
up my own lyrics when I sing. So
mistaken lyric, like I would have chose misquoted movies
uh huh.
because I'd much rather be able to like educate someone on the movie.
Okay, that makes
But like
sense.
when I'm vibing out in the car and I'm
Mhm.
with a friend and then they're like singing a song and it's like completely wrong, completely ruins the entire vibe.
So, anytime I'm with my girlfriend singing in the car and I mess up a lyric, I know the look. She looks at me like, "What did you just say?" And I say, "This is Brian's version. This is my version of the song.
Yeah.
My own lyrics." So I just change the lyrics. I don't even care anymore. I say it's Brian's version. I have my excuse for it. So, backing off of Brian's version, we'll have Taylor's version. Taylor Swift or Kanye West?
Ooh, so I'm Jewish.
The process, I think. Look at that question. Okay.
But the interesting thing is, I am very good at separating the artist, like what they say,
Mhm.
what they do, and from their work.
Okay.
I really enjoy Kanye's work.
Okay.
His music and everything is good. Well, minus some of the stuff where like he actually preaches what.
Poopity scoop whoop poop.
Yep. Amazing.
Best thing ever.
Honestly, I don't like Taylor Swift
Okay.
because I don't agree with a lot of what she says.
Okay.
Kind of blames men for all of her problems.
Okay.
I'd probably take Kanye, even though I'm a Jew.
Taylor Swift is better than Kanye by a long shot, and it's not even close. Taylor Swift does not take the blame for everything she does. You've never heard the song "The Man," "The Anti-Hero," anything of the sorts. You've never listened to the Reputation
Because
album.
I don't like Taylor Swift.
Listen to the Reputation album. We're listening to it after this podcast episode. I'm making him listen to the Reputation album, and we're gonna change his mind about Taylor Swift. I swear to you, next week he's
Will
gonna
not
come
happen.
back. Next week he's gonna
I'm
come
just singing
back.
Taylor Swift in the
I know.
intro.
He'll be like, I like shiny things, but I'm. It's gonna be the most heated thing
Clip
ever.
that. Clip that.
It's gonna be the most heated thing ever. When I post this clip on TikTok too, I hope you know you're gonna have all the guys with you. I'm gonna have all the girls on my side. So
Yep.
it's just how it is. It's just how it is. It's also factoring in my girlfriend listens to nothing but Taylor Swift, and I have to
Okay.
listen to it. And
So you've just been
I've
forced
grown
into
to
it.
I've been forced into it. I'm not
And now
gonna
you're
complain.
now you're there.
I'm not gonna complain. Not gonna complain. Go ahead.
All my fellow Jews, please don't come after me. I'm able to separate the artist from the music.
That's fair.
As a person, don't really like Kanye West because he's crazy.
But also, as a
Although-
person, you don't like Taylor Swift.
Conspiracy theory.
Hmm.
The Kanye we're seeing today is not Kanye.
We need to start the conspiracy theory podcast.
We
I think.
do, and actually,
Honestly, Patreon.
Patreon? Look us up.
Look us up. We'll get a conspiracy podcast
We'll get
going.
conspiracies going.
I'm sure we could do a thing, something. We'll figure
We'll
something
figure it out.
Figure something out. All right, what's your other this or that?
Alrighty. Funny story or one-liners.
Story.
Story.
I feel like with the story, you build up
Mhm.
to the eventual punchline right at
Yeah.
the very end, and I think that's what makes a story. One-liners just getting thrown in there
Yeah.
randomly are the best thing ever too. That's hard, but I think they go story.
I love stories. I love stories, and if it's funny, even better.
Mhm.
And the reason why I did that one is because my dad, whenever I tell story, tends to be longer than it should.
Mhm.
And he always like, get to the point, get to the point. So I was like, funny story or one-liners. I love funny stories.
I think I agree.
One-liners are a little too quick.
But sometimes those one-liners just hit.
Sometimes the one-liners are
And you're
just so
"What?
funny. It's
How
like,
did you think
oh
of
my
that
God.
so quickly?
Yeah.
Like
And-
Spider-Man
yeah.
is a one-liner god.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Going into it, if you've seen our brand, one second, I gotta sneeze. Oh. Going into it, if you've seen our brand, you've noticed our mic colors are dark, and the lights.
Mhm.
Going off of this, you'll see lightsabers coming out in our logo and stuff. So, my question for you is: blue or red lightsaber?
Red.
Red.
Yep. And
Guess
I
we
know,
should switch sides 'cause I'd go blue.
and I know we're opposite.
Uh-huh.
The reason why I like red is because it's so real, and that's why I like Star Wars. And side note, Disney, you ruined Star Wars.
I agree.
But the reason why I like it is because it shows it's corrupted. It's a corrupted
Mhm.
lightsaber. It's been bled. It's a bled lightsaber. Just shows realness. And I think personally, hot take, the Jedi use your emotions.
Yeah.
You're either with me or you're against me.
Mm-hmm. My favorite of the prequels and my favorite Jedi is Yoda. So, big on a green lightsaber. This one, actually, if I ignite it, there's a lightsaber hanging on the wall back here. It's green because I'm a big green lightsaber guy. So, neither for me, really. I'm a big green guy. The Force, everything's really cool to me. What's your third?
My third. Comedians in serious films or serious actors in comedy.
Serious and comedy. Going off of that, I think sometimes seriousness can be funny.
Mhm.
So, like, if you throw a serious actor in
Yeah.
a comedy role and their sole purpose is to be serious in that role, certain parts when they're being serious is gonna be make the moment even funnier.
Which
So-
ties into Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because the Wolverine that we've
Mhm.
seen is a very, very serious character.
Yeah.
And he's kind of going into a comedy
Mm-hmm.
character's movie.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Very interesting to see.
do you pick the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although sometimes I like to see a little bit more depth with comedy actors.
Adam Sandler and
Adam
Uncut
Sandler,
Gems.
Uncut Gems. There was
I think Seth Rogen's done it too.
Seth Rogen. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I love seeing
Jonah Hill.
comedians. Jonah Hill, one of my favorite actors
Mhm.
of all time. And yeah, I just love seeing different sides
Yeah.
of people.
It was good to both.
But I do prefer serious actors in comedy.
Yeah.
'Cause it brings a different light to it.
Yeah, me too. Going on some recency movies: Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Although I'm not the biggest fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay. So what does that mean for Spider-Verse for you?
Hated it.
You did not like the new
Oh,
Spider-Verse
I
movie?
didn't hate it. I wasn't the biggest fan. Too long.
Too long.
It's like made the world record for longest animated movie. 2.5 hours, right? Not the biggest fan. Don't come for me in the
Going back on
comments.
that, I choose Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I've been a preacher of this to close friends and stuff. They'd always go, "You're stupid. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. Across the Spider-Verse is a great movie." I don't have my conclusion. I don't have my ending that I want. Obviously, there's that ending for Gwen's arc in that movie. I just think I need my Miles. Once Beyond comes out, this movie is going to be looked at very differently for me.
Well, and I'll redact my statement a little bit. I don't think it's a terrible movie. I just don't really like cliffhangers or like ending on an open note.
Yeah.
I kind of like finality to things.
So I'm sure when Beyond comes out, our opinions are totally
it'll
gonna
be changed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about some of these movies that are in series is that until you see the whole series, you can't develop your opinion.
As a movie and watching it for the beauty of the movie and everything, Across the Spider-Verse takes it by a long shot. I've seen Across the Spider-Verse 3 times in theaters compared to Guardians of the Galaxy. I've only seen once. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it has to be my new favorite MCU movie. I think they wrap everyone's story together. Rocket's he's like my second favorite MCU character. And getting his full story was awesome. The villain is intimidating. The story is awesome. James Gunn cooked.
I will go out on a limb. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I like it. I appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
I will say the High Evolutionary, one of the best MCU villains yet.
Yeah.
Because, oh my gosh, bro, just
you hate
the
him.
depth. Yeah.
You hate him.
But at first, at least for me, because I tend to take, I like to see, I thought Thanos.
Red lightsaber user right here.
Yep. Thanos' idea for, his in-depth plan made so much sense.
Yeah.
People just didn't like it because he was killing people.
Yeah.
But he was saving the universe. But I will say, at times with the High Evolutionary, I was like, he's just trying to create, man. Let him create until he tried to kill Rocket.
Oh.
And Rocket's one of my favorite characters.
There is no God. That's why I had to step in. Holy crap.
One of the best lines
by a villain in the
by
MCU
a villain
movie.
in the MCU.
Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah, I think Guardians 3, just because it's my new favorite MCU movie, as of right now, that changes a lot. You'll notice that with me. My girlfriend always points that out. She's like, your favorite MCU movie changes every week. I'm like, no, it does not. But
Well, it changes whenever they come out.
Yeah, exactly. New one comes out, Quantumania. It wasn't my favorite, but you know.
No.
Um,
I feel like I should kind of explain, though, why I'm not the biggest fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I am a comics guy, I didn't like... It's so hard, man, because Adam Warlock in the comics is such a strong character. Such a strong character. I wasn't the biggest fan of, him being kind of like a child. And it just kind of, that was kind of sitting in the back of my head the entire movie.
Yeah,
I really liked the story about Rocket. Because, I mean, in the first movie, you see him change and you see the mech, and you're like, what is going on? I liked that. But I will say, this kind of ties into one of my hot takes next segment. But I don't like separation and breaking up the entire Guardians of the Galaxy broke my heart.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't meant to be a destroyer. No.
Man just said no. Oh my goodness. You still got your Guardians team. Sure, it's not the most ideal team, but
I'm scared for where it's gonna go.
I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I think that's the last time we see them. Maybe we'll get a Rocket seeing him again, but the rest of them, I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously Batista.
Yeah, he's done.
Not coming back.
Nebula's not coming back.
DC Batista.
Lobo. He's got to be Lobo. That's my pick for him. Obviously, Bane's the most ideal thing for him.
Well, Bane would be cool.
But
Lobo.
Lobo. He's gonna be Lobo. That's my pick.
Lobo.
Hot takes. We're going to say 3 hot takes that we have, and this is, I think, the last segment for us today. So we'll start it off. I'll go start this one off. A Bug's Life is the worst Pixar movie.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like A Bug's Life.
Do you want to tell your reason why?
It was traumatizing as a kid. Those grasshoppers flying on the screen, I would have me screaming at the screen. Absolutely not. It's never interested me. The story, nothing of it's. I don't know. To me, it's interesting because it's like, it feels like it's supposed to be a pretty movie to look at, but I just get bored looking at this movie compared to other Pixar movies and the animation style and everything. It just bores me. The movie
Bug's
just bores
Life
me.
is one of my top favorite Pixar movies.
Okay.
I love
it.
it.
I'm sorry.
Love it to death.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I understand where you're coming from. When I was a kid, grasshoppers terrified me.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I just killed one a minute ago in our setup over here. And just walked
But
around.
every time it's like a spite. Like anytime you see a grasshopper.
Terrible movie. Squish. Obviously, Brave is right around there.
You think Brave is just as bad?
It's around there. I don't like Brave that much.
Okay, I don't think Brave is great, but I don't think it's like what you're saying. Because I love Bug's Life.
Also, I don't like Inside Out. Inside Out's pretty low for me too.
I don't really like it.
Okay, so that's a lot of people like Inside Out. So we're gonna get flamed for that one. Go ahead on your first hot take.
Spider-Man: No Way Home is only good because of nostalgia.
I hate this take. I hate this take. Oh my god.
And I've thought this since the beginning. Now, I will explain myself. I like No Way Home. I do. Tobey's my Spider-Man. He came back. But the only reason why I liked Spider-Man: No Way Home is because of Tobey and Andrew. And the villains they brought from their movies.
Tom goes through the most character growth in any of his movies in No Way Home, with or without Tobey. Andrew are the villains. Obviously, Green Goblin killing Aunt May aids into that, but he could have had any villain do that. Tom's character is written very well in that. No, I'm just.
Pay the writers.
Pay the writers. I've heard this take before, and it's a take, all right. It's something.
That's why it's called a hot take.
It's a hot take. Going on to Spider-Man with my hot take.
We're gonna. The first
Tobey
episode's
Maguire.
the last episode.
Spider-Man 3 is the best of the Tobey trilogy.
Ooh.
It's close. I can't take any of those movies seriously, and Spider-Man 3 doesn't even take itself seriously, so I can actually enjoy it. It's the most laughable Spider-Man movie I can go in there and just laugh at, and that's the best. For actually movies, it's not the best, like as a well-rounded movie, but for my enjoyment, it's my favorite of the 3.
Really?
I would say so. Spider-Man 1's close.
I was going to say Spider-Man 1 is the one that I always go back and watch.
Green Goblin, everything. Spider-Man 2 is a fan favorite Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 3 is just my, that one's gonna be bad. What's your second take? Let's just get past that one.
Okay. Now, technically, this one's my second, but it's the most controversial, I think, hot take on this.
For those of you on YouTube, I'm gonna stare at you, and you're gonna see my full reaction.
But I'm gonna no. I'm gonna move it to my last one.
Okay.
But my second hot take is that Toy Story 4 is the worst. I personally, the worst Pixar movie ever. Hate it with a passion.
Okay. It's unnecessary. It's a very unnecessary movie.
And the reason being, I saw that movie right before I went to college. Like it was like senior year-ish, I think.
Yeah.
Or junior year-ish, depends. Thought, hated it. Like, Woody, why are you gonna leave all of your friends for a chick that forgot about you for years? Leave them.
Yeah.
We don't need Buzz anymore.
Yeah.
That broke my heart.
They're making a 5th one.
I'm not seeing it. Actually, I'm
I'll
probably gonna see it. But
I'll see it, but I won't like it. That's the thing. That's fair. I mean, I find it unnecessary, but my whole thing with animated movies is I just want to be mesmerized by how they look, and it's a new animation style. Like, it's not new, but like I feel more interested in that, like watching that movie, than I do watching Bug's Life per se. I don't like Forky. Forky's just annoying.
Okay, that was like the only part I liked about that
Forky
movie
was
was
annoying.
Forky.
No, Forky was annoying. My last take: The Dark Knight is good, but the Batman is better.
Actually,
The only thing good about The Dark Knight is Heath Ledger. Thank you. I hate Christian Bale's Batman. Everyone, my take.
okay, so when it comes to that,
Robert
because
Pattinson's
okay,
Batman
so
is
I
the
don't
best.
I don't like his Batman,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess since it is a Batman movie, that's what you have to base it on.
Mm-hmm. Heath Ledger carries that movie to a ridiculous level, and it's crazy. I like it more than the Riddler in the Batman.
I wish he could have been around.
Yeah, to see his own movie, it's sad, very sad.
Would have been amazing. But I'm also not the biggest fan of the Batman.
Okay.
Because I've honestly, besides like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, I have not liked pretty much any DC movie I've ever seen.
That's fair. I
Oh.
like the Suicide Squad too. But the Batman is my favorite Batman movie, and I think it's a great movie.
Look at the camera.
Oh, here we go.
Most controversial hot take I think has ever been pasted on the internet. I liked and really enjoyed Jared Leto's Joker.
You are crazy. No, whoa. No. You cannot be serious. You cannot be serious.
100% serious.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. In the Snyder cut for that last scene, he actually seems like a good Joker towards Ben Affleck's Batman. But no, in the that movie's terrible. Suicide Squad is terrible. He is a terrible.
I liked
part of
that movie. That was like probably the only other DC movie that I liked. Yeah.
There you have it. A hot take that beats out Spider-Man 3 being the best of the Tobey
I
trilogy.
told you before, did I not? I
That
told
is
you.
great.
Okay, and here's my reasoning behind it. It's like because with all the Spider-Mans, right? There's different ways that they play the character. Heath Ledger, arguably best Joker, right? Agree with that?
Yeah. Joaquin's a close second.
Personally,
Don't say Jared Leto's better than Joaquin
no, I'm
Phoenix.
not saying Jared Leto.
Okay.
Okay, actually, I am saying Jared
No.
Leto's better than Joaquin Phoenix. Here's okay. So my listing, I'm gonna go ahead and rank my Jokers. Goes Heath Ledger, Jack,
Okay, that's fair.
Jared Leto.
Okay, you're crazy.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin's at 4?
I honestly, I could not really sit through the Joker.
No.
Couldn't sit through it.
As I majored in film in college, and that's just like it almost reminds me of like an older like 80s type thriller
Yeah.
movie, which very like got me super invested in
Yeah.
the story and the twist with him creating the
And I think the reason why
relationship
I didn't like his Joker as much is because it was a real Joker.
is very real. It's kind
Like
of creepy.
it's
how
a
real
little
it is.
too accurate
Mhm.
for me. Not like to the comics, to just crazy people in
Yeah.
general, like in real life, and it just was really unsettling.
It is very unsettling.
So it was really
I think
hard.
that's why I like it. But
It was really hard.
Jared Leto, what are you? No,
Okay, and my reason behind it is because going into the different types of Jokers, like I said, like we just said, Joaquin, Joaquin's Joker is like a very real, like real life Joker. Like he could be in real life, right?
Mhm.
Jack is just amazing actor.
Yeah.
Amazing actor in general. He brings like shining into it. Like it's just
he's my third, I think.
And then Heath, obviously the GOAT, carried the movie.
Yeah.
The reason why I like Jared Leto more than Joaquin is because it's just like a fun, like still kind of mental.
Then you go. He also played Morbius. And that's the
I hated
best
that
Sony movie.
No, I hate that movie. I actually hate that movie with a
Not a hot
passion.
take.
Okay,
That movie is terrible.
no.
He's not a good
Don't
Morbius.
get me wrong. I think Jared Leto, besides this character, which I like, terrible actor. Actually, not terrible actor. Been put in terrible positions.
He's a method actor. I don't care for method. Well, his level of method acting.
His level of method acting is
Um,
like living in literal like dog doo doo.
I saw him in one movie that I really liked him, and I'm trying to think of what it's called. The Little Things. Have you ever seen it? It's with Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, and Rami
I've heard of
Malek.
it, but I haven't.
He plays like a serial killer in that movie, which
Perfect for him.
I think he plays a better Joker in that movie than he plays in this movie. The thing with him is he's like on the run. Like you don't actually, by the end of the movie, you don't know if he's actually the serial killer or not. Like it's a total mind twist like that. But I don't know. He just plays he plays like more like a chill crazy guy. Like, yeah, that's me. No, 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 no.
It's like that. I don't know if you ever really watch. Cause I like Teen Titans better.
Mm-hmm.
But Teen Titans Go. There's like this one scene that always shows up on TikTok.
Where he
where they're trying to
Joker.
get into like the Joker's base, and then there's like
Jared Leto Joker. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's funny. That's funny.
That's actually the reason why I thought of that hot take was because that
Okay.
showed up again, and I was like, wait, I actually really do like Jared Leto. But although, admittedly, in Teen Titans Go, when Robin does it, it's like very zesty, and I was
Thank you guys for tuning into our first episode of this podcast.
Yep.
This was fun.
It was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Good first episode.
Good first episode. We're going to come back next week, do the same thing again, move my computer out to the kitchen to record a podcast.
Yep.
It's going to be super fun because I have the time to do that.
Yep.
I definitely don't have 3 jobs to work or anything. I have the time to do that. We're going to squeeze in as much as we can. That being said, if somehow an episode doesn't come out for something, I got really busy. It's going to be on me, really. But I'm going to try every week to give you an episode. I need to stay consistent with it.
And then also, I'm gonna start learning editing as well.
I'm gonna teach him.
So, with that, if he can't catch up to time, and I have the time, I'm gonna try and pick it up.
Yeah.
And then obviously just send each other cuts.
Mm-hmm.
But all of our stuff will be linked below.
Yeah.
Both of our TikTok accounts, your YouTube. Obviously, it's gonna be on your YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can swing over to my YouTube or our TikTok accounts. I am KiwiJuice.
Cosmic Commander.
The _ cosmic _ commander. That's him there.
Only available.
Only thing available. But yeah, go ahead and follow over there. You'll see our regular types of TikTok accounts and our regular types of uploads and stuff. Besides this podcast, I'm going to be uploading clips of this podcast over there. So if you want to follow that, you can see clips from what you just listened to today. Besides that, I mean, I think that's it. Jared Leto's not a good Joker. No, we're not doing this. Thank you guys for listening in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.